Rick Morris. We're talking about purpose and destiny. I want to talk to you about our ways, a phrase I heard when I was young and pretty much adopted was my way or the highway. One of the issues that came up when we first got married is we were having dinner one night and my iced tea glass was empty, and so I didn't know I didn't know any better. I just rattled the ice cubes, gave them a little shake to let my wife know that I needed a little more tea. Well, that didn't go over very well, and so that was the end of that practice. We had many other issues we had to work out. One of them was the fact that in my family, you pretty much didn't tell people like it is. You said things that people wanted to hear, and you kind of kept your comments to yourself. In my wife's family, you shared what you were thinking, and everybody knew where each other stood on each issue. So that was uh, something that took some time to work out in our culture differences. But today's lesson is titled Our Ways, and there's a lot more to this concept of our ways versus God's ways. And I'm hoping to take the mystery off of how many different ways our ways affect our life. Our step 23 states, we realize God's ways are higher than our ways. This is episode 1 of step 23. The verse I've chosen is, "For a man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord. He ponders all his paths." That's Proverbs 5:21. Now, through our lifetime, we establish our ways. We learn our ways from family, our peers, and our environment. We read a situation and react the way we always have. For example, you're in a you're in a public community park and somebody pulls a knife. Well, you may feel fearful, you may get angry, you might be curious, or you might even be puzzled. What is all this about? Are they out to rob us? Are they cutting a piece of rope for a tent? We look at their face to read their demeanor. And so, depending on our past, our upbringing, we react to different stimulus different ways. We have our own ways. Another example, we're starting to plan a party. We automatically think about who we're going to invite. We think about what kind of food we're going to serve. We think about what drinks to serve. We think about decorations. So, what is most important to us? That can vary depending on the person. And you might say, what is it, what difference does it make? A lot of things don't matter. That's true, but a lot of things do matter. Our ways reflect our priorities. Our ways affect our future. Our ways determine our quality of life. Our ways are predetermined decisions that we make every day. Our ways reflect the paths we will take throughout the day. That's why God is so interested in our ways. If our ways are ingrained in us, they're down in here, how do we change our ways? I'll pause, let you think about it. It's not easy to relearn or reestablish our ways. Diets or New Year's resolutions don't work because they don't go to the root of the issue. A decision to stop smoking is only the beginning of a new path without cigarettes. The truth is, we make life-changing ways. To make life-changing ways, we must die to smoking. We must die to drinking. We must die to thinking about food all the time. When an addiction is dead, it doesn't raise up its head anymore. So, how do you kill an addiction? How do you kill it? Make it dead. All of us are different. Addictions are different. All things are different. And we're different. Our brain chemistry affects our decisions. We're wired over time to react to stimuli in different ways. People smoke to relax. People drink a beer or a cocktail after a hard day's work. To kill these embedded addictions first requires a decision to rid ourselves forever of this way of life. You got to decide before you go any further. That's the first step, and we covered that in step 1. Some people make the decision to end an addiction, but then they get wishy-washy as time goes by, so the decision by itself is just not enough. To kill an addiction, we must take action. We must clean out all traces of the addiction. Throw away or burn up pornography magazines. Flush drugs down the toilet. Pour alcohol down the sink and break the bottles in a trash can. Nail the cigarette package to a tree. These actions must be sincere and done in faith. And they may sound silly, like they wouldn't have any effect. But if they're done in faith, they will have an effect. I've seen people tear up and cry over taking those actions. And then you know it really has an effect. You can declare out loud words like, I don't want drugs or alcohol to rule my life anymore. I'm giving up control of my life to God because I made a mess of it when I was in control. Declarations like that into the atmosphere, even if you're by yourself, they may have powerful effect over the atmosphere and all of the principalities that are in the atmosphere. That's beyond the scope of this lesson, but we'll talk about it at length more. Be accountable to someone you trust. When you feel weak, call this person and tell them how close you are to relapse. When the addiction is dead, the cravings will go away. Dead addictions don't raise their head anymore. Let me say that again. When the addiction is dead, whatever you're facing, the cravings will go away. When it's dead, dead addictions don't raise their head up anymore. One side note, the reason a food addiction is so hard to kill is the fact that we must eat to live. You know, a lot of these addictions like smoking and drinking and pornography, we don't have to have them to live. We can change our life and go on without them forever. But food, we have to eat food every day to replenish our bodies. So a food addiction is one of the toughest. Food addictions are killed at the grocery store. Let me explain that. Make yourself accountable to someone you trust and shop for groceries together. Buy healthy food and stay away from processed foods. Put processed foods that are in your pantry or freezer into the dumpster. That's an action you can take. You win the battle at the grocery store. You fight the battle at the grocery store. If you don't have that stuff at home, you don't cook it. You don't drag it out for a snack. You win the battle at the grocery store or the restaurant. Our ways are much more inclusive than just addictions. I know that that's what the primary focus is here, but we have a lot of other ways that are important in our lifestyle and in our life. For example, we treat our neighbors a certain way. Some neighbors we wave to. Some neighbors we ignore. Some neighbors we help out. We're there when they have a need. I have neighbors that call me when they're out of town. They want me to roll their trash can out or in or both. We react to family members some way. We may react to them in a very negative way when words come up during holidays. They know our buttons, which buttons to push to make us respond. We react to family members that are close, like our spouse and our children, a certain way. They become accustomed to the way we react, and they prepare for it or hide from us or don't tell us the whole story. So our ways are important in the way we handle family members. We react to strangers in a different way. If someone's a total stranger, sometimes we don't make eye contact with them. That may be our way. Sometimes strangers, we're looking for a way to help them where they're struggling. For example, I know a person that told me she saw a lady struggling with what to put back when she was in the grocery shopping lane because she didn't have enough money to buy everything in her basket. And so she was trying to decide whether she could make it without this package of diapers. Well, the lady behind her took the diapers and looked her in the face and said, "Look, let me buy these for you. I want to help you." That was the way she handled that stranger, with compassion and love. We prioritize our spending and saving money our way. We may spend money a certain way, and someone else would never spend their money that way. And we may save our money a certain way by using the penny bank, or maybe we have our company hold out a certain amount of money. Some companies match whatever we save. We react to beggars in our own way. When someone who is homeless, obviously homeless, or in the middle of the road with it flying a sign, we react to them our own way. We either ignore them, we give them money out of the mercy in our heart, or we pull out a bottle of water and hand it to them. We handle beggars in our own way. When we're sick and lonely, we deal with it in our way. But you know, this step states that God's ways are higher than our ways. So I wanted you to understand that we have our own ways, and they're very important, and it's how we live life. We will explore His ways in the next episode.